Here in Germany, we have the Lexus NX for about 7 years, and the second generation is now here available. The NX Lexus is a compact SUV series between the smaller UX and the larger RX, with no big changes to the external dimensions, length and width plus 2 cm. 95% of the parts are new. The Lexus NX is the Japanese manufacturer's best-selling model in Germany, where its sharp, angular exterior style and luxurious, well-appointed cabin help it stand out from its more traditional German rivals. Let's have a closer look. Cabin quality has always been a Lexus strong point. Fit and finish is excellent with generous levels of standard equipment, but the interior of the previous model felt overly fuzzy, with a high button count on the dash and center console. The Japanese manufacturer has responded to critics with a superbly reinvented interior and infotainment system. The 14-inch touchscreen display standard on F Sport and Takumi models looks great with controls much closer to hand and easy to operate on the move. We have an electronic shifter which is a joystick style with park being a button. There are two large cup holders behind the shifter. We also have the auto start stop enable disable hill descent control, all-weather traction button, brake hold and of course the stability control button. The bezel for that infotainment system makes its way over here to the instrument cluster, where we find a 7-inch partial LCD cluster. I have to say this did surprise me. You cannot get a full 12-inch LCD cluster in here like you can find in some of the European competition. We have digital gauges in each side for the engine temperature and fuel level, but those are LEDs. Everything else is the LCD. And as you would expect, the LCD theme changes based on the drive mode, wherever it's normal, eco or sport. If you get the top trim, we also get a large full color heads-up display which you can control from the bottom on the steering wheel. The big news in the new NX is the in-house developed user interface, and it can be used as a touchscreen, which is a bit laggy, but by design it's meant to be a casual voice prompt system like the Mercedes system. This system needs a Drive Connect data subscription, which is free for the first 4 years here in Germany, but it seems to be a huge improvement over the previous trackpad. It also offers a user profile feature where the driver can personalize their settings, and this can be kept in the cloud so that when they get into another Lexus vehicle that equipped with the same technology, those settings will carry over. There is also a digital key technology which enables you to use your smartphone to share access to your vehicle. So let's say you want to give your friend the opportunity to unlock and drive the car, you can do that via the app. A few seconds of using the Link Pro system had us wondering if any other brand has ever delivered such a fast improvement from one car's infotainment system to the next. Gone is the old car's small display and frustrating touchpad, replaced by a huge 14-inch screen. Some might find the screen is almost oppressively large and bright, but the night mode manages to take the edge off when it's dark outside. The system looks great, responds well, and loads incredibly quickly. Once you have typed a postcode, the route boots up within seconds. The climate controls future physical dials for the temperature, with the rest adjusted through the screen, and it works well. A clever touch is the wireless charging pad. It's adjustable and helps the telephone while charging to go into the console in order to don't get overheated by the sun. Of course, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are standard and wireless. Between the front seats, we have a large padded center armrest, which it opens to the side and gives us quite a bit of storage capacity. In case you are wondering, it opens from the other side as well, moving over to the driver's side. Of course, there are dipping mirrors when reverse is selected, and a digital mirror are good things to have. Overall materials have a premium look and touch. There are shift paddles for the simulated gears that feel great, and a hefty drive mode dial that fingers will like touching. And those modes do make a noticeable difference. The head-up display is minimal when cruising, but when your fingers brush the controls, more options are revealed, and those dots are functions that have been assigned yet. It can be customized. There are a lot of customization and features. The temperature bottom displays are actually part of the screen and not separate switches. Something significantly improved is also the rear view camera and, of course, the 360 view camera. Door releases in the new NX are pretty cool. Instead of pulling them, they are electronic. You push them, very easy to use and very simple. And if you ask yourself, what if the power goes out and the battery goes dead? Lexus have of course think of that scenario, and then you still can pull the lever instead. It might seem a little bit gimmicky, but there is a reason for these door handle releases. And this because the safe exit assist is constantly watching your blind spots when you come to a stop. If the vehicle is turned off, the system still works for about 3 minutes as it's watching for the blind spot for pedestrians, bicyclists or drivers, and you try to open the door, it's going to say, no, no way, watch for traffic, and it's not going to let you the door. Now the door can be overridden you. Hold down the button for 3 seconds and the door will open more than likely 3 seconds. Whatever was in the blind spot has probably already passed at that point. Knee and leg room are pretty generous. There is a good amount of headroom. The cushions are high enough so that high support is actually excellent. Door openings are a little bit on the small side, but getting in and out shouldn't be too much of a hassle. Door pockets on the back doors are big enough so you can stash some stuff, and those tricky door handles are in the back as well. There are no sunshades, but there are seat back pockets, and of course there are regulator vents for the back passengers, and of course the back seats are heated. Of course there are several USB ports and a socket for charging devices. There is a good amount of space for 3 adults. A lot of space and storage place to stash the security safe in the trunk, but unfortunately no spare tire. NX has run flats and cargo space is about 545 liters. In a flat configuration can reach 1436 liter capacity. This is about 1400% more than the older model, and handy bites can make the space more useful. While this trunk is not very big, power seats are available, and this is indeed a nice thing to have, not so much for driving but for racing, and that can be also done from the driver's seat. Lexus offers the F-Sport package, which is about €11,000 extra, and is thought to attract younger and more enthusiastic drivers. This package adds an active variable suspension plus performance dampers front and rear in order to compete with the German competition and the new Genesis G70. It is some sportiness in it, but it's never harsh and stiff. It's definitely a comfortable Lexus. Let's talk now about the tire and wheel, because we have two small disappointments. First, this is an old school type TPMS sensor, and that means if something happens to the tip, here you have to replace the whole sensor, and you have to program them again every time you replace them with a special scan tool. Surprised to see this in a modern car like the NX. The second thing is the choice of the run flat tires. There is really no point of using a run flat, even if that makes the reserve tire unnecessary, and of course they do that in order to reduce the weight of the car. But in the other side, run flats tires do not live long and they are very, very expensive to replace. The NX 450H Plus, a plug-in, is always four-wheel drive and has 70 kilometers of range. The NX shares the same foundation with the Toyota RAV4 and there is absolutely nothing wrong with it. The weight has been reduced about 95 kilos in comparison with the previous model. The 450H 2.5-liter engine with the code number 825AFXE produces 185 horsepower and 227 Nm torque, and with the assistance of the electromotor produces in total 309 horsepower. The battery capacity is 18.1 kilowatt hours. This is a very efficient engine and is actually made for the hybrid models and the plug-in hybrids. This engine offers a very high thermal efficiency and has the D4S, the dual injection system from Toyota, to minimize the risk of carbon buildup, and has an EGR system that is actually an evolution of the current EGR system and doesn't have the previous problems of carbon buildup of the EGR because this takes exhaust gas after the catalytic converter and the gases have been cleaned up a little bit. When they come back are cleaner. This engine has of course double VVTi and it is electronic or VVTi-E. That is basically an electric motor that turns the speed of the camshaft and speeds up or slow down to advance or retire the time. Very cool design, very technologically advanced, works very, very good, and since this engine has come out, there are not any issues with this. And it's actually a very reliable system. There is an inverter cooler also. There is a heat pump system. It's a very high-tech system, and the idea of this is to do three functions. First, it works as a normal air conditioning system called an evaporator inside, hot condenser on the outside, and works like a traditional air conditioning system. Second, when you are using electric only, because this is a plug-in hybrid, and you can go electric 70 kilometers almost, and you can use this as a heater, and it's actually a little bit loud when it's working.
Alright, stop it.
The third function is the highlight of the system, and it cools the battery which is underneath the car. The inverter assembly is the brains of the whole hybrid system, and basically this takes the voltage out of the battery and multiply the voltage so that increases the power to move the car supplies electricity to the very system such as the air conditioner which is completely electric, the power steering, and even send power to the rear axle since the NX has four-wheel drive. The transmission of the NX 450 is the P810 ECVT. This is not a conventional CVT transmission, has no the components of a normal CVT. It is a continuously variable ratio, but it achieves this in a completely different way and is also the same transmission we can find in the RAV4 plug-in, which is actually the sister model of this NX 450. We also got three hatches in the hood. Let's see how it drives. The cabin is available in 5 colorways, including the F-Sport Black and Circuit Red, or synthetic leather. There is an intimate vibe in here. It might be more airy in lighter colors. Of course, they are 14 ambient light themes. Lexus Safety System Plus 3.0 is very comprehensive and includes all safety features elements as standard and includes automatic emergency braking, lane keeping assist, adaptive cruise control, left turn on coming vehicle, and many other features, and all of the text is very well done. Lexus has done a good job of improving its driving dynamics. This new NX, it isn't soft and floaty. In fact, the suspension is a little bit firmer than someone could expect. Plus, there is actually some road feel coming up through the steering wheel, and we have noticed a slightly understeer tension if the car is thrown hard into tight turns. After a 2-hour drive on the highway with different surfaces, the cabin seems to be appropriately isolated. Not like the big sedan LS, of course, but road trips will be pleasant and of course will not cost much either since the fuel economy rate is of the best, with 1 liter per 100 kilometers. If you want it, you are going to be in 0 to 100 in 6.2 seconds, and the final speed is regulated to end at 200 km per hour. All NXs use a CVT automatic transmission, which we have previously leveled much criticism at for its rather noisy character, particularly when accelerating hard. We found it a better match for the 450h, where the plug-in version can draw on its electric power to help reduce engine drag. The dual motor setup also offers plenty of torque in all electric mode, quick off the mark from a standing start and easily able to deliver zero emissions driving at motorway speeds. You won't find the petrol engine cutting in if you stamp on the throttle, either all through a quick press of the hybrid button on the center console allows for pretty seamless switches between fossil fuel and battery power. For a premium hybrid SUV that has a focus on comfort and luxury, the NX handles well enough, able to take on faster bends without losing its composure and secure at higher speeds. It's not maybe as fun to drive as a BMW X3, but we think it provides a sharper drive than the Audi Q5 rival. If you are after the quickest NX, then the 300 brake horsepower plug-in hybrid model is the one to go for. The pros of the new NX are the great plug-in option, very economical, the quite good performance, and the new user interface, which is a really good upgrade, but the response of the voice command is a bit slow. What we didn't like so much is the absence of a spare tire. All SUVs should have a spare tire and not that heavy run flats. For the full use of Lexus interface, you will need a Drive Connect data subscription after the first 4 years. After, you have to pay monthly. The NX starts in Germany for the 350 hybrid about 45,700 and ends up for this 450h plug-in for 60,300. That's not much if you compare it to the sister model Toyota RAV Prime, which is with almost the same spec and goodies as the NX can also come at this exact price. Lexus finally has refined its best-selling NX SUV in all the right areas, which means it's more efficient, it's more comfortable, and features a new infotainment system that's worthy of its premium status. Build quality is superb, too, while practicality is up to par with good passenger space and a decent boot. Should you consider the NX in your shopping list? Yes, absolutely. It's a very nice, a real premium car, very well made, economical and athletic, I would say. And in this very competitive segment, Luxus offers also the best reliability. It is a unique vehicle, modern, expressive, and I will say simply the top. But just don't forget that this cannot go really off-road. If someone has such ambitious ambitions, should really look at something else.